Okay, one thing I forgot to say in that last video was that what a point I was trying to make was that, so I've had 5 mental health evaluations, and the Benincasa family, Joe Benincasa, Nancy Benincasa, Chris Benincasa, and Andy Benincasa, they justify keeping me and my daughter, Ava Benincasa, separated, forcibly separated against our will, not letting me have even so much as a phone call with her for the past, since August 22nd, and it's now November, not letting her have any physical contact with me at all since Christmas, the day after Christmas, December 26th of this year. Not letting us see each other at all, even under their supervision, not bringing her for a visit, not hiring lawyers and separating us since she was 4 years old. Now she's 6.5. This is all justifiable to them because they say I have mental illness. The point I'm trying to make is I've had 5 psychological evaluations, taken pictures of them and posted them on Facebook and Instagram. They're available because some of them I can't post. One of them is 60 pages long. I can't post that all, obviously, or I can't post a video of myself reading it or pictures of it all, and they would probably have me thrown into Facebook jail anyway, even if I tried, which they've done a few times. Because they're trying so hard to silence me about this, and I just want to see my daughter Ava. I will, like, Joe got all these lawyers involved to try to keep me from speaking to, like, people like Bette Midler and Alec Baldwin, seriously, to Lin-Manuel Miranda and all these people, John Cusack, because that's all he cares about, is that I don't tell this story. I don't talk about what they're doing. I don't talk about the fact that this is an injustice, and that this is child abuse, and that this is really fucked up. He doesn't care how it hurts me or hurts my daughter Ava Benincasa, his granddaughter. He should care about that, because losing your mother is so painful. Being kept away from any parent is just, it's child abuse. Contact now between parent and child is child abuse. Parental alienation, whether it be just through brainwashing the child or through severing their relationship by misuse of the family court system, that's child abuse. So I'm trying to say that, suppose I did go through this crazy path back to custody and I had 50 to 100 grand to spend, and they were trying to thwart me the whole time, and they were outspending me the whole time, and they threw me in jail, and they took my license, and eventually it's going to come out that I was never crazy to begin with, which is how they're justifying doing all this. They're justifying all of this abuse of my daughter by saying it's all okay because I have a mental illness and I was abusive to Ava, which Ava knows I was never abusive to her. Everyone who knows us and, knows we were close, and we had a beautiful, wonderful mother-daughter, loving, awesome relationship. She's never going to forget that. I have a friend who's been a social worker, who's actually been a social worker for more than 10 years. Amadine Kay claims she was too. I don't know, but my friend Laura Ann Roscoe, Laura Ferrari now, she definitely is. And she wrote a letter about what, advocating for me. My friend Olwen Jarvis, who was my kindergarten teacher or second grade teacher, she is an 80-year-old woman and a pillar of the Quaker community and an actual expert on early childhood. She wrote a letter of recommendation for me. I got 5 psych evals. They all said, nobody diagnosed me with a mental health problem. They all said I was intelligent, So my point is that even if I took this crazy path back to custody that they want to force me onto, Ava would still have to grow up without a mom. And eventually it will come out that I never had any mental health problems to begin with. Because if Joe Benincasa really was just, he wanted, his granddaughter Ava to be able to have a mother in her life, but he just really was worried that I was really crazy and might hurt my daughter, then why doesn't he pay for the evaluation himself? He has the money. Instead, he pays more money than that to have lawyers to make sure I'll never be able to afford that evaluation. For example, he recently, he paid for his son to get a lawyer so that they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars so that now Chris can empty out and my ex-husband can take every penny I have. and sue me for their legal fees and all this stuff. So, therefore ensuring that I will never have enough money to dig myself out of this insane hole they've stuck me in, and Ava will never have a mother again. And it's all presumably because I'm mentally ill. Well, the truth is going to come out, like, maybe not in family court or whatever, but I don't care about that. I don't have any respect or, I mean, family court is a complete disaster. And there's so much written, too, about how broken it is. It's in, it's been written about in the New York Times and all over the internet. There's just so much research, so many experts speaking out against it. Dr. Phil has done, shows about it. There's just so much written. A really good book called The Worst Interest of the Child, American Child Trafficking. So much written about our flawed system and how destructive it has been. And, the Benincasses are smart enough to do that research and to gather what's really going on here. But they pretend they ignore all of that and just say that they have to do things this way because the only way to do things. So that's the point I'm trying to make, is just that eventually it'll come out. And maybe by watching these videos, skeptics or people who just believe them and say, oh, I guess if they're keeping Ava away from her, she must be really crazy, can watch this and see that they're lying. Eventually that will come out one way or another. I mean, the worst they can do is lock me up in jail for a while, which they're trying to do, which is shameful. They should not be trying to lock up the mother of their only child/grandchild and my mother, my 70-year-old mother who has lost 2 sons and her granddaughter now because they won't let us have any contact with each other. And now they're trying to lock her up for just like peaceful, just for all kinds of reasons. They're trying to have her arrested. There's no reason. For spite. That's the reason. Now, another thing that will eventually come out is the one who actually has mental problems here is my ex-husband. I mean, here's a picture he posted of himself last year on Instagram. I mean, he liked this picture of himself. He posted it on Instagram. He took this picture. He drinks every single day. I have video of my daughter talking about how his drinking scares her, and she's working on a plan to throw out all his beer. I've put them on YouTube. I'm not the crazy one. I'm speaking out against this insanity. This is insane. Like spending hundreds of thousands of dollars attacking the mother of your only child so that you can sever the relationship between the mother and the child. So you can lock the child up in your parents' house from the time she is 4 till now she's 6.5. To listen to your own child cry for her mother and ignore those cries, which again, I've posted those cries on YouTube. So if you think I'm being dramatic or making this up, you can see that is not true. So that you can live with your mom, who you said abused you, and leave our daughter with your mom, who you said abused you when you were a child, and post pictures of yourself like this on Instagram and drink every day. That's crazy. And making a lawyer rich instead of investing in your child. That's crazy. I haven't seen my daughter in almost a year, and the Benincasses are trying to make sure that we'll never see each other again because I'll be dead or in jail or in debt and unable to ever get out of it. I need to find some kind of magic lawyer, but the system is so broken that and they have so much money that they're willing to spend. And everything I try to do to just sit and talk to these people. Actually, I'm going to make it, well, whatever. Basically, they will not. I mean, from the beginning, I just found an email, which I'll find again, and I'll make another video of myself reading this old email that Joe wrote, which he said, that he hoped that me and Chris, the father of my child, my ex-husband, could sit and talk. I said, yeah, of course we have to sit and talk. We have to co-parent. We're going to have to sit and talk. And he said, oh, no, that can only be done with a professional third party. So for them, it's always about hiring someone. And as long as they're paying that person is biased towards them, of course. I offer to go for free family counseling at the Lenape Valley Foundation. Now, they would be providing a free service for us, so they would have no bias. And my ex refused to do that. He's just a big baby that's hiding in his parents' house and not willing to communicate with the mother of his child, and hides behind lawyers and therapists and all this bullshit, and it is just bullshit. And then he's stealing this precious thing from my daughter, which is her chance at having like a healthy, normal childhood, and that includes having both parents, having a mother. And she's, hurting, but he justifies it all. I'm going to stop with that one here and make more later. Thank you.